A Chargers fan can be described in one word: pain. A lot of it. The sports media world love to use the term chargering. Well, those of you who do not know why they say that or what they mean, let me take a minute to explain examples of chargering. I was talking to some Charger fans who had been emailing me and who had been talking to me constantly, and they were asking me questions about the chargering thing. They were asking me, why do you do what you do? Why do you continue to do the podcast? And telling me how just sick they feel inside since becoming a Charger fan. And most of them were in 2006 and 2008 and 2010. And I've been a Charger fan since 1979. So I'm getting ready to hit 45 years now in a couple of weeks of being a diehard Charger fan. And I've been through all of it. I've been through the pain and the heartache and all. And some of these people that are young in the game now that are Charger fans are just getting a little taste of what it's like to being a Charger fan. So I decided, based off those conversations I was having, that I was going to come on here and explain what chargering is all about, a little bit about the early part of the history of the Chargers in the 2000s, and hopefully they will get something from this and be able to understand, or I'll be answered a lot of those questions they had. But in 2004, the Chargers finished the year 12-4, finishing in first place under Drew Brees, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Coach Marty Schottenheimer. But the Jets hung around in a tight wild card game, and Nate Caden missed a 40-yard field goal attempt in overtime, and the Jets won on Doug Bryan's 40-yard kick on the ensuing drive, and the Chargers lose in the playoffs to the Jets 2017. Every time you think it can't get worse, it get worse, because in 2006, loaded with talent on both sides of the ball, the team finished 14-2. They didn't make the Super Bowl, and a lot of that is because of their divisional round game against the New England Patriots. And that will always be known to me and to Charger fans as the Marlon McCree game. The Chargers looked to get a 21-13 victory when safety Marlon McCree picked off Tom Brady late in the fourth quarter. And instead of taking the knee so we could try to orchestrate a methodical drive and seal the game, he tried to return the ball, fumbled it, and had it scooped up by ex-Charger Rashay Caldwell. 5 snaps later, Caldwell then hauled in the winning touchdown pass, breaking the Chargers' heart. Chargers head coach Marty Schottenheimer, who was later fired, never coached the NFL again. God rest his soul. 2007, Patriots and Chargers meet in the AFC Championship game. Norv Turner led the Chargers to 11-5 record the following season, and San Diego did beat Tennessee and Indianapolis in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. And yes, we were saying it's finally going to happen. We're going to go to the Super Bowl. Phillip Rivers suffered a torn ACL and an MCL in the victory against the Colts, and although he played through it against New England, on the road, they eventually lost 21-12. In 2009, the Chargers finished 13-3 in the regular season, and with a first-round bye, they hosted the Jets. Mark Sanchez led 2 fourth-quarter scoring drives for New York, and Rivers threw 2 interceptions, unfortunately, and another shocking playoff loss. Listen to this for chargering. In 2010, the then San Diego Chargers finished the season with the number 1 offense and the number 1 defense in the National Football League, but with a very bad special teams unit, they didn't even make the playoffs. In 2013, the Chargers defeated the Bengals in the wild card game 27-10, but lost to the Denver Broncos in the divisional round 24-17. They didn't see the playoffs again until 2018, and we got all excited after going into Baltimore and defeating the Ravens in Lamar Jackson's rookie season before getting blown out early against those Patriots again. The 2021 season ended so bizarre under Brandon Staley. All the Chargers had to do was win or tie against the Raiders, and they're in the playoffs. The stage was set. The Chargers and Raiders both can make the playoffs with the tie due to the Colts' loss early the previous week. Staley was roasted again for going for it on 4th down multiple times. This was a poorly managed game by Staley, and the only reason we still had a shot in overtime was because of the miraculous play of Justin Herbert. The Raiders won on a field goal, which was a crushing loss on many levels to Chargers fans. The Chargers' ugly finish in 2021 under Brandon Staley was a season that we all wish that we could just forget. After back-to-back losses in the midpoint of the 2022 season, the Chargers was 5-5 with 7 games left. Fighting through a number of injuries, they were somehow still above 500, but with the odds stacked against them, they strung off 5 wins over the next 6 games. They clinched a playoff spot. Now at 10-6, the Chargers was in Denver facing the Broncos in what should have been an off night for the Chargers starters. With the playoffs already clinched, it only made sense. Don't risk the injury bug with the franchise known for being hurt at the wrong times. Well, that was too much to ask for Brandon Staley. He played the starters because he said he asked them and they wanted to play and continue their strong momentum into the postseason. This was the game that began the unraveling of this team. Mike Williams unfortunately suffered a fractured back and was done for the playoffs in a game that he should never have been playing, in a game that meant absolutely nothing. You couldn't get anything accomplished by playing the starters in that final game against Denver. So we lose a huge piece of our offense and a big target for Herbert again because we got an incompetent coach that's way in over his head. The Chargers wound up losing this game 31-28. Now we in the playoffs with the Jaguars. Both offense and defense was putting on a dominant show in the first half for the Chargers. At one point, the Chargers was up 27-0 with a supposedly guru for a head coach, a specialty in defense as the leader. So we good, right? Nah. The Chargers blew the largest postseason lead in NFL history and lost 31-30. And this season, all the bad plays and bad calls and bad management and bad draft picks have all come to the surface in this one season. And these clowns still standing here in charge of this team as if to rub it in our faces. I talked on the phone and answered emails from many Charger fans that's distraught and was just telling me how they were feeling. So what I'm about to say, I'm speaking not for just myself, but for the Charger fans that I speak to daily that has invested financially so much in supporting this team. Mr. Spanos, before you bought this organization in 1984, it didn't feel like we were a cursed team. We didn't know what the hell it was to be chargering. But under your leadership, y'all have taken chargering to a whole new level. And also, let me say this. We know everything is on social media. There is no privacy. There is no hiding. Spanos family, you have smartphones, you have tablets, you have computers, and I know you watch ESPN and all the other media outlets on TV, so you know what the world is saying. So I know you will at some point see this. And this is from a dedicated, loyal 45-year fan that's suffering under your organization. This is another example of pain. For decades, this Chargers team and entire organization is defined by their inability to hire competent coaches. They miss more than they hit on their draft picks. They have no clue as to how to build a team based on culture, a strong foundation, and has been a failure, a massive failure at developing any kind of an identity with this team. This organization stinks from top to bottom. And anyone that can't see this for what it is, you need to go get your eyes examined. See, your eyes don't lie. Believe what you see. I am so tired of people making excuse after excuse for this team. It's bad. Say it with me. The Chargers are a god-awful team. Say it. It's all right. Say it. The Chargers are a god-awful team with a horrible general manager and a clueless head coach, and it has been this way for some years. We keep reshuffling these young analytic guys that think they know football and know how to lead men. The only thing this team has been known for is having pretty-ass uniforms and supposedly a lot of talent on paper, but doesn't translate to any kind of success on the football field. The Chargers are the butt of jokes around the National Football League. The Chargers are frauds who pretend to be an NFL organization. They're rip-offs. They're thieves who steal and offer fake news to fans thirsty for a championship. They're users and takers of diehard and loyal fans' hard-earned money and offer nothing in return but pain, agony, heartache, and disappointment. It's embarrassing and hard to be a Chargers fan right now. We've had so many opportunities over the years to win something with this organization. This product that Dean and Alex Spanos continue to put on the field should be a chargeable crime. Watching this team makes you want to vomit. And if you care anything about these fans that spend their hard-earned money as season ticket holders who travel and spend thousands on planes and hotels and rental cars, tickets to get into that stadium, the money they spend on food and beverages, and risk getting into fights from rival team fans that's in the stadium. If you care, which you probably don't, why don't you sell the team to a ownership that will invest in their franchise and invest in their fan base like the fan base invest in you guys? So on the Thursday night against the Raiders, I see a lot of people appears hyped for this game with Easton Stick and whoever the Raiders quarterback is. I don't see how you guys feel any kind of excitement toward this game. I've been through so much pain and heartache with this team, I've grown numb to it now. And Khalil Mack, big fella, I admired your hard work this year, and in fact, the last 2 years, but I'm hearing you called the Chargers' younger players out and challenged them to do the things that they need to do and do their jobs to perform at a level that shows they belong in this league. It's a little too late for that now. Every damn player at every position on this team wearing a Chargers uniform wasn't good enough this year and hasn't the last few years. And they have got to get better. And I don't care what the circumstances are. Nobody on this team is exempt from improving. I wish it would have been done much earlier in the season that Khalil Mack did this, but it's a little too late. Let me talk to you from the heart for a little bit. I enjoy interacting with you guys on X. And when a lot of you guys on there mention when you guys became Charger fans and mention that it was 2006 or 2008 or 2010. It's not to minimize or make you feel any less of a fan or less knowledgeable, because people like myself and others who have more years in than me, with me being a 45-year fan, the only reason why that conversation comes about is because some, not all, but some on X, we know, like all of us, we're very passionate about our football team. We have a lot of passion with anything we talk about. I know I am. It could be real life issues. It could be sports. No matter what we're talking about, we're passionate people. We're passionate about things we believe in, right? So being a fan that long and having the long history with the Chargers, because we've been fans for so long, when you lose so much, when you have so much confidence, and when you're just like, we're going to win. There was times where I went to work and I've had nasty arguments with people over a football game. I've almost gotten into fights over a football game. You be so hype about your team and talk so much shit about your team that you have a heartbreaking loss and you know there's blood in the water. You know they're waiting for you to come to work to attack. And I worked on the job where the department was huge, like 500 employees. So they were waiting at the front door. And sometimes you would be in your feelings so much and you just didn't want to hear it. You would call in and take a sick day or use a vacation day. And I know I ain't the only one that did it. So I'm saying it, but I know there's people out there that's listening to this right now. You've done the same thing. But we were young at the time. And over time, we got better at controlling your emotions. You realize as you get old, it's just a football game. Why am I being that emotional to where I'm cursing folks out or I'm threatening people? And, I'm just sharing that as an older guy because that's how I used to be when I see a lot of you guys. I fell back on X a lot because I don't want to get into the conversations where we threatening people or we're dropping F-bombs or calling people out by a horrible name. I don't want to do it that way. I think it's fair to talk about how horrible of a game plan the Chargers have, how bad of a history they have with finding different ways historically to lose games and so many close games. And I talk about the 2010 season when they finished number one in offense and number one in defense, but last in special teams and didn't even make the playoffs. Like, who does that? Nobody but Chargers. That's one of the things they talk about when it comes to chargering. But all you guys that wear a blue uniform that says Chargers, we family. We interact with each other on X all the time, and we don't even know each other. But we just know that we are Charger fans. I'm not excited about Thursday night. I'll never root for my team to lose. But at the same time, how much confidence when you see, you know what your eyes see. They're a bad team, man. They're a bad organization that's adopted that losing mentality. And for some reason, like a curse, they just can't seem to shake it. Do they need to see a voodoo doctor? I don't know what it is, but the Chargers been doing this shit for years. And I'm going to tell you, man, I'm a family man that have 6 grown adults, that have 3 grandchildren that I cherish. I usually do a podcast right after the game or first thing Monday morning, but I had my grandson with me, so I couldn't. You know, he's only a year and a couple of months, so he needs my attention. So I didn't have time to sit down and do a podcast, and that's fine. But find reasons to get up in life and just be happy. Don't put so much into a football game. I did it a lot of times and had to grow out of it. I mean, a lot. Some people I call right now just to talk football with, and their team had a disappointing loss and they won't answer the phone. Sometimes they lose. It take a week for them to have a conversation with me. And I don't ride people or call and, you got your ass kicked. I don't do that. I enjoy the game for that moment. And when that moment is over and I'm disappointed and pissed that we lost, because it's natural to have those feelings of disappointment. And when you lose, you're mad as hell, but then you let it go. Because I'm sure, like me, there's a lot of things in your personal life that you're happy about. And if some of you have kids, if some of you are married and you carrying on and yelling and screaming and going crazy and don't want to talk and can't eat. You know how we used to do? Like, y'all know I'm not talking a foreign language. I used to do that shit when I was younger, and I know a lot of you do it. I could tell by some of those texts. I was highly disappointed in they were honoring Antonio Gates, and all the greats came out with Phillip Rivers and LaDainian Thomas and Sean Merriman and probably Dan Fouts, and even Eric Weddle came back. And you know how Eric Weddle feel about this organization. He can't stand those guys, but the love that he had for Antonio Gates, he came. And we chose that day to have one of the worst performances by a team that I've ever seen. We're still messing around with a coach that has no idea what he's doing. No idea. And sometimes I have thought they're going to fire this guy. It was so bad they're going to fire him. But I sometimes have to remind myself that the Spanos family own this team. The Spanos family own this team, and they just have a one-track mind how they do things. We're going to wait till the season's over, and we're going to look at everything and evaluate everything. You know, if I was the owner, he would have been fired after that Jacksonville Jaguars game last year. I was at the Jaguars game week 3 when they blew us out, and I spent $3,000 coming from Jersey to California to that game. I've been to Jack Murphy Stadium. I've been to Qualcomm Stadium. I've been to that little high school stadium where they were playing it while they were waiting for the renovations to finish at SoFi. And I've been to SoFi, man. So I've been spending money for years and years and years and years. But it don't bother me, the losses like it used to, because I'm happy, man. I have peace of mind. Like, the Chargers consume one little part, and I'll be pissed off and mad and disappointed when I think that you're a better team on paper than what you show on the field. But when that's over, it's over. When I turn to my grandkids, or I turn to my wife, or turn to my children, I don't want to have all that negative energy. You know, I listen, I know I've been there. You guys can't fool me. I've been there when if somebody at the job said the wrong thing, I was going in their mouth. That was stupid and young and immature of me, but that's who I was. And I don't want you guys to be that way. And I want us to continue to interact on X but you know, when we interact back and forth, I back off when it comes to insulting somebody or calling somebody out of their name, all that stuff. I back off then. I don't want to have anything to do with that. Age and maturity and being wise taught me not to do that. So I don't do that. I would never get mad at someone for their opinion. That's your opinion. If I don't want to respond to it, I won't respond. If I don't agree, I don't agree. And sometimes we engage back and forth. But before I go, I do want to say people that hit me on YouTube that's emailing me or inboxing me and they're talking about the podcast, things that I talked about. Sometimes people was in agreement and they told me why they didn't agree, but they were very respectful. I appreciate you guys so much, man, because we don't have enough of that. Like some guys will just come in and say, F you. You don't know what you're talking about. And I've had guys that hit me and said, hey, man, I respect all the years you've been Charger fan. I don't agree with that, but here's what I think. And I love that. And you guys ever want to come on the podcast and share your opinions with me, you know, or share any kind of knowledge with me, it don't even have to be football related. Listen, doing this, I used to be pissed after games, after disappointing losses, but this is therapeutic for me to come on and just get my frustrations out. Maybe this team was overrated and not as good as I thought they were. So my expectations was up here. And when they couldn't come and meet those expectations, I was pissed. But you guys are welcome as long as you know how to conduct yourself like an adult, right? As long as you know how to be respectful and articulate yourself in a way that you don't embarrass yourself or embarrass myself, I wouldn't have a problem with you coming on and having a conversation with me. I like the interactions. I like the conversations. I like sharing knowledge. I've learned something from some younger guys like young guys have learned from me, right? So if you want to do that, you're welcome and fine with that. I have no problems with that, but I don't expect anything. Thursday night, I'm not looking forward to Raiders and Chargers. It doesn't even feel the same no more. It was like, oh, it's Raiders week. I don't feel any of that no more. And my partner, who's one of my dear friends, he's a diehard Raider fan too. He feels the same way. Just can't wait till the season is over. I'll be rooting for them to win. But if they lose, I'll be expecting to lose. So how can I be disappointed in something that I was expecting anyway? Just trying to help you guys a little bit, trying to give you guys a little bit of therapy, right? That's all. So I believe what my eyes see. We have a bad football team. We have a bad owner. We have a bad GM. We have a bad head coach. And we got some horrible players that can't tackle, that don't understand the game. It's just horrible. And I'm not talking about everybody, but everybody do need to improve. Everybody. I'm talking every position on defense, offense, from the quarterback to the running back to the pass rushers to the linebackers. Like, we need to improve. This team has so many holes that I did not realize. And I can't, as horrible of a coach that I think Brandon Staley is, and again, I'm not attacking the man. He's probably a great father, fantastic husband, and a great man. But his ability to be able to put defensive schemes together or prepare a team where they're disciplined and ready to go and play a competitive game, horrible, horrible. And I will never, ever accept mediocrity, ever. I'm never going to say, give him one more chance. We've seen 3 years of this. I want to know what it feels like for the team that I've been representing all these damn years to win a Super Bowl. Damn near all of my friends, they got to experience all the stress that they went through with their team, all the money that they spent on their team, all the things that they went through that people go through as a fan base. They got to experience that, and I didn't. And I probably won't with this team. We got a horrible team, but I would never jump ship and go anywhere else. I'm Charger Blue. That's it. I'm always rock Chargers. Win, lose, or draw. But I don't have to be happy with what they putting on the field, though. But anyway, that completes another segment of Chargers Talk 4630. Don't forget, if you like the content we give here, press the like button, give a thumbs up, and as always, it doesn't cost you a penny to subscribe. This way, you'll never miss a show or podcast. And also your device, whether it's a tablet, phone, or computer, it will send you a notification as a reminder that either we're live on the air or we just released the latest content. And also, please don't forget to subscribe to my new podcast called Serious Conversations, also right here on YouTube, where we cover all types of topics that's non-football related. I don't want to limit myself to just talking about football, as people have a lot of things they deal with in society on a daily basis, and I want to cover those also. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. My first podcast is a documentary that I'm sure you're going to love. A trailer preview will be released in the coming days, giving you more info on what it's about and when it will be aired. I thank you for your support. Be healthy and walk good. Talk to you soon.